Shalom, it's Levi Shore. Welcome back to Swing Good Torah. So I'm officially announcing the return after all these years of the Dead Prophet Society. Oh my gosh, what is that? I first went to Aish HaTorah in the old city of Jerusalem in 2003, and I was there for 6 years. And then during that whole process, I met my wife, and then we had our first daughter. And it was just amazing experience. I mean, just you can't imagine. I went from the film industry, the television industry of Los Angeles, like this great spiritual darkness, to the holiest city in the world. And my background, went to film school. I worked in the film industry, and I really loved the movie Dead Poet Society. When I was growing up, I loved Robin Williams, and I found it so inspiring. This great teacher that like he's really teaching his students a little something more. I love the scene. I was watching again last night. I haven't seen it in so long, where he's ripping out, the professor E.J. Pritchard, or whatever his name was, the dry, boring, professor wanted to graft how great each poem is. But it's the words of poetry can really inspire a person. It can uplift them. It can really get into their heart. It can inspire them to be greater. So it's really interesting. So it was such an amazing experience. I mean, I was learning Torah, a lot of Torah that I never heard before, holidays that I never heard of. Never heard of Tisha B'Av, or really celebrated Sukkot or Shmini Atzeres or Simchas Torah. A little bit Simchas Torah, but all these holidays that I never heard of, all these fasts that I never heard of. And it was an inspiring time, but it was interesting. So even though Aish HaTorah, it wasn't an elite, preparatory school in the Northeast, it wasn't like as rigid. There's great kindness of all the Rebbeim there. They invite everyone to their homes for Shabbos and Yom Tov. So a very uplifting experience. But there was, I felt, something a little heavy-handed of like pushing everyone into this Kiruv movement instead of like developing each student for who they're going to be. Because some people are going to go back and they're going to work and have a career. And there was no tracks. It was either like my way or the highway. So I don't know. So maybe I felt a little bit of that, a little bit of that elite, prep school kind of mentality. And in a way, is this elite yeshiva, even though it's not Mir and Panovich and all the great yeshivas of Europe, but it is a high quality yeshiva, and we had some of the best rebbeim, and we were right there, right in front of the Kosel, right in front of the Western Wall, and from my dorm room, I could look out to the Har HaBayis, the Temple Mount. So it was an inspiring time. But I don't know, something inspired me that I started this group based on the Dead Poet Society called the Dead Prophet Society. Because if the words of poetry, like if the words of Thoreau and Byron and Shelley and Longfellow and all, Emily Dickinson, all these great poets for all of history, the epic poems of Homer, the beginning of the action movie, the action thriller. But if poetry written by man can inspire people to become greater, and inspired in the movie, it inspired his students to like start coming into themselves and being independent and charting the course of what they want to do in their life, then kol shekain, then how much more so can the words of the Neviim, the words of the prophets and the prophetesses, I can never say it, the Neviah, that they received words, and they're not even their own words. They received words from Hashem. They received the words, these beyond holy, poetic, prophetic words from this infinite creator who gave them the words. And so if poetry can be uplifting, how uplifting is the words of the prophets, of the Nevi'im. So what we started to do is we started going out at night, and we bring some candles, and we go to different places in the old city. And it was really special. It was really, I don't know, it was a special little thing. We didn't do it so much. And it started to grow. And then, each student would like come prepared with their little portion of the Tanach. As they would say, like they would give over, something of the prophets, something they learned in Nevi'im. And it just started growing and growing. We were in these beautiful, holy, ancient locations in the old city. And then we went to the Cardo. So if you've ever been in the old city, it's the marketplace and all the ancient pillars. And it's all stone floor. And we had brought out all these candles, and people were standing up and giving, Devar Torahs on the prophets. And I don't know, somehow word got out, and those girls from the seminaries there, it was a huge group. And that was the last time I did it. I don't know, it was strange. So my roommate, Shimmy at the time, I don't know, he was speaking to his father. His father, as a rabbi, he had went to Aish. And I don't know, his father was like, oh, first year student, is doing this. But he was saying, no, it's really beautiful. You had to be there. So I guess like his father didn't realize like I had a background in I had a bachelor's degree in religious studies, which is not it's not learning in yeshiva, but I studied a lot of the Tanakh for years and years before I got to Aish HaTorah, and then of course the learning was even on more elevated level, and B'ezrat Hashem, the great blessing I had to learn with Rabbi Eitan Feiner in his yeshiva, I mean in his Gemara shir, and he would teach us Tanakh, he was teaching us Yeshua, it was the book of Joshua, was just incredible. So it's a special time, but I think now's the time. I don't know exactly why I started it, and I don't know exactly why I stopped it, but now's the time for the Dead Prophets Society. And we're going to take a look at a little prophecy today and I'll explain why now's the time. But as we actually watching the prophecy unfold before us, and actually we're going from the ikvus, the Mashiach, the footsteps of Mashiach, the footsteps of the Messiah into very soon the Chevle Mashiach, the birth pangs of Mashiach, and then actually seeing a king emerge in Jerusalem, in Yerushalayim. Now's the time. And maybe all you out there, start your own chapters. The Dead Prophet Society. There's no fees, no memberships, no secret rituals. It's just learning the Neviim. It's just learning the prophets with all the commentators, with all the Meforshim. That's all it is. Just elevating ourselves, being inspired by the words of the Nevi'im, the prophets, Hashem's words. So let's take a look. Let's learn a little something. If this is the first meeting in the Dead Prophet Society again, let's bring something up on the screen. Let's learn a little bit here. So this is why it's now. This is from Yeshaya. It's from Isaiah 60, 21, 22. Wait, hopefully I have my glasses here. We're just going to learn two simple pasukim, but we're going to see that this is the time, and it's amazing things are happening. So it says, "Ve'amech kulam tzaddikim," and Hashem says, "All my people, all your people." He's speaking to Isaiah. All your people are tzaddikim, and all Hashem's people, or maybe Isaiah is speaking to Hashem. All your people are tzaddikim, leolam, leolam, forever. All your people are tzaddikim forever. So Yirshu Eretz, and there we will inherit the land. Which land? Oh, the land they're claiming we're occupying, the land that contains Sion, which is the Temple Mount, which will be again the home of Hashem, a home, the base of Mikdash, the temple for this infinite being. And they're going to inherit the land. Your people are going to inherit the land. And they're the Netzar Mata'ai. They're the Netzar, they're the little shoots, the little plants shooting up of your planting, Hashem, of my planting. Hashem say, my garden, Mata'ai, my garden, my planting. We're Hashem's little shoots growing, His holy garden. So Maseh Yadai Lachis Payar. And Hashem saying, my handiwork to glorify, that I'm going to glorify. And then here we go. And we're now Parsha Toldos. We're seeing the battle of the two brothers, the twins, Yaakov and Esav, the two empires. Yaakov starts the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, Yisrael. He's given the name Yisrael, Israel, we'll see soon. And then Esav, he forms the mighty Roman Empire, and it's still here today. We're still in this Gullus Edom, this Roman exile, and the power of Western Rome now is the USA, heading into its 250th anniversary. This is going to be a big year. And then what's the power of Constantinople, of Eastern Rome? It's Russia, the mighty Russian bear. And Putin's marching through Ukraine on his way to Constantinople. There's big things happening in the world. This is the time. And Yaakov, we see here, Hakaton, the younger one, right? The younger one. Esau was born first, but Hakaton, the younger one, not the Rav, but the Katon is going to become the Rav. But the younger one, Yehiel Aleph, he'll be for 1,000. He's going to be multiplied, not even just a Mea Sharim, not even 100 gates, as we see with Yitzhak in this week's Parsha, but 1,000. The younger Yaakov, Yisrael, is going to become 1,000. Vahatzayir, and the younger one, Lagoy Atzum, a mighty nation, a mighty nation. The nation, the Malchus, right, of Beis David, of the house of David, but it's all the Malchus Shaddai. It's all Hashem's kingdom, right? So then Ani Hashem, and Hashem says, I am Hashem, I am the infinite being, I am the infinite creator, I run it all. It's all my universe, my world. Be'ita, in its time, Achi Shena. There's a final Be'ita, there's a final time where Hashem will send the Gula, and He will wake us up, He will turn on the alarm clock and wake us up. But then, Achi Shena, then Hashem says, I'm going to speed it up. Okay, so you want to know how close we are? You ready for this? If you watch the previous videos in the Midrash Nelam and the Zohar, we learned something incredible from the Shar Leshem, right? The grandfather Rav, I think it's Yosef Shalom Eliashiv. His grandfather is the Leshem, a great Kabbalist, a great Makubal, a great Torah scholar, Tanach, who knew all the Mishnah, Gemara, Halakha, knew Midrashim, the Tanach, the Mikra, everything. So he writes that there's going to be these parallels in history. And just as we were 40 years in the Midbar, in the desert, before we entered Eretz Yisrael, we're going to have this period of the Kibbutz Goliath, the ingathering the exiles. And when did it start? In the year 1990. And when does it have to finish by? The year 2030. And then the 210 years of Techias Hameisim, the period of Mashiach, the period of the resurrection of the dead. So there's great machlokas we see here in the Midrash Nelam. And Rabbi Yehuda, he says it has to be 210 years, right? So it has to begin in the Hebrew year of 5790, so that's 2030. But again, we see something even more credible. So let's say 2030 is Be'ita. Let's say that's it. I mean, all the Ketzim, all the end times have come and gone. But let's say it has to happen by 2030. Then what about Achi Shena? What about I will speed it up? You don't have to wait all the way to the end. We waited so long. It could have happened in the year 4000. We're in the year 5786. It's been a long time. But Achi Shena, Hashem says, I will speed it up. And guess what? Rabbi Yitzhak says, no, the period of Techias Hameisim, it's Vayed, Vayard, Yaakov. And the Gematria of Vayard, like Yaakov will rule, 214 years. And when does Yaakov's rule start? Year 5786. Achi Shena, this year, 2026. So maybe this is it. So we are there. We're at the end of the game, bottom of the knife. We're in, we're first and goal, in football, trying to get the touchdown. We're there. We're there. So we're going to start the Dead Prophet Society again. We're going to learn a lot about the Neviim. We're going to learn about the prophets, and we're going to watch this prophecy unfold before our eyes. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me your comments. And if you like it, please share the video. Help me out. Like it, subscribe. Let's get the word out there and start your own Dead Prophet Society. Elevate yourselves. Get students of the prophets and the Neviim. Okay, I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.